Morning, everybody. My name is Toby Millman. I am with Brookfield Properties. I'm very excited to be here. I'd also like to introduce some other senior representatives from Brookfield Properties that are here with us today. Greg Meyer, who is the EVP of the Greater DC region. Sabrina Canner, who is the EVP of Design and Construction. And Abe Napperstack, who is EVP of Development. Thanks all. Some of you came down from New York, so appreciate you all making the trip today. I'm very excited to be here on this really great day. It's a little chilly, but I appreciate you all making your way out here today as we kick off the second phase of the Yards with the groundbreaking of this first major office building in the Yards. And I'm very happy also to have our anchor tenant, Chemonics, here, representatives, who will be speaking later as well. I could not think of a better organization than Chemonics to be joining us here at the Yards. As an international development company working in 70 countries on some of the world's most intractable problems, they're literally working to save the world. We are very excited to have them and the type of people that work for them here at the Yards. Chemonics currently has 1,000 employees spread out over multiple buildings throughout the Washington area, including 400 employees in Virginia, which they will be consolidating right here in the site behind us, all 1,000 employees, and with some room for additional expansion as well. As many know, Brookfield Properties and its predecessor at the Yards, Forest City, has had a long-standing success in achieving CBE and first source employment practices during construction. And Chemonics has committed to the same goals for the build-out of its interior space, and we want to thank them for that commitment. We know that Chemonics had many choices of sites throughout the Washington area, and we are so pleased that they chose the Yards to build a signature building and be part of this wonderful emerging neighborhood. The second phase of the Yards will both be an extension of the great neighborhood that has already been created here, but it will also have its own sense of place. The signature feature of this Yards West portion of the neighborhood will be a 5-block long new shared pedestrian and vehicular street that will connect the Navy Yard Metro and the river and will become a destination in itself. Brookfield Properties is working closely with placemaking experts and world-class architects to ensure this is a place like no other in the district or, frankly, anywhere else. In addition, we will be building out both sides of N Street as a retail main street. So N Street runs right behind here, connecting the ballpark with the built-out portion of the Yards East. And it's literally the missing link in the neighborhood. It will connect the two sides of the neighborhood together. The goal is for the Yards to simultaneously have its own unique identity, the greater Yards, and character, while being fully integrated into the greater Capitol Riverfront neighborhood. We cannot wait to move into this new phase with partners like Chemonics, the support of our elected officials in Mayor Muriel Bowser, Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton, and our champions in the DC City Council. I also want to take this opportunity to recognize some folks who have worked on this project, including David Shirey, Joe Jewell, and John Lecker with Brookfield Properties, the architectural team at Gensler, and as always, our partners at the GSA, Brett Banks representing the GSA here today. Now, I'm very pleased to introduce Susie Mudge, President and CEO of Chemonics International. Susie has been with Chemonics for nearly 30 years and has served the company in many key leadership roles, including as Executive Vice President, Senior Vice President of the Latin America and Caribbean region, and as Director of several of the company's larger programs. So with that, I'd like to introduce Susie.
Thank you, Toby. Can everybody hear me? Thank you very much, Toby, for that, and thank you all for being here. Good morning. Good morning. On behalf of Chemonics International, I am so honored to be here with you today to celebrate what is a very exciting, groundbreaking ceremony for us. I would first like to acknowledge Congresswoman Norton, Mayor Bowser, and other distinguished guests. Thank you so much for the important work you have all done to support our DC community and the support you have particularly provided Chemonics so that we could get to this point. We sincerely appreciate that. For those of you who may not know, although Toby has just somewhat articulated what Chemonics is all about, we are an international development company working actually in now over 80 countries around the world. Our mission is to help people live healthier, more productive, and more independent lives, always working tirelessly to ensure that those that have the least deserve our very best. Moving into this wonderful new building is a real evolution for Chemonics. When our founders started Chemonics in 1975, we were just a small office of 3 people on the corner of 20th and M Street. Over time, we have expanded and moved to different locations within the District of Columbia. And now we have staff, as Toby mentioned, working from 4 different buildings, both in DC and in Virginia. And we have more than 5,000 staff working for Chemonics around the world. We are thrilled to have the opportunity to bring staff from each of our DC and Virginia offices back together under one roof in what is an amazing building. Bringing our staff together under one roof here will allow us to learn from each other, to innovate together, and to have an even greater impact on the communities we work with and serve around the world. Not only would this opportunity help unify our U.S. workforce, but it also brings together the spirit of our global workforce and allows us to apply the values of our international mission to our local community. We are extremely excited to be a part of and contribute to the dynamic and evolving Yards community. Back in 2018, when we were searching for a new location for our corporate headquarters, we honed in on the Yards because this area embodies so much of what is important to our staff: a sense of community, a commitment to the environment, diversity. All of those are very important to Chemonics, and we want to continue to be responsible citizens right here in our own neighborhood. We are eager and committed to be an active part of this vibrant urban space and to call the Yards Chemonics' new home. So thank you again for all of you for being here, and especially to all of our partners in this journey, specifically Brookfield Properties, the City of DC, the Yards, Gensler, and CBRE. On behalf of all of our staff at Chemonics, especially a hardworking group who are helping us design and build the space to best fit our staff needs now and in the future. We look forward to the day when we can move in and truly be a part of this amazing community. So thank you again.
Thank you, Susie. Now I am very proud to introduce Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton, who represents the district in Congress. Now in her 15th term, she continues to create jobs in Washington, works hard as a civil rights and feminist leader, and currently serves as the chair of the House Subcommittee on Highways and Transit. As everyone knows, and everyone I'm sure knows, it was Congresswoman Norton's vision and leadership that made this federal land that we're on right now available for redevelopment and an asset to the district. In other words, none of this would be happening without our Congresswoman. Thank you.
I appreciate that kind introduction. Mayor Bowser, ladies and gentlemen, fellow citizens. Now, in the district, of course, Mayor Bowser, we're on the brink of passing our law to become the 51st state. But I must tell you that today I'm as excited by what we're doing here as I am about our bills to become a state. And let me tell you why. Yes, I've spent most of my time in the Congress trying to make sure we became a state, but I have spent an equal amount of time on economic development in land that was vacant in the districts. And the reason is because the district has a Height Act. So the district cannot expand. So if there is undeveloped land, that is virgin territory that could be useful to the district, could be bringing tax revenue to the district. So ever since I've been in Congress, the kind of development we are celebrating today with Chemonics and Brookfield Properties is what I have been most involved with. Right now, for example, there is the wharf. We finished with the wharf phase 1. We're already into phase 2. There's Noma. It's another example of undeveloped land that I got for the district. There's the Walter Reed site, which the district has just begun to build on. And yes, there is the Yards. And the Yards is where I began. It was called the Southeast Federal Center. And notice what we're celebrating today. Chemonics begins phase 2 of the Yards, because if you look around you, you will see that the Yards is already very well developed. And we are so pleased to have such an international company with headquarters right here in the District of Columbia. What we are seeing around this plot, and by the way, I drive past this plot all the time and keep wondering when I'm going to see something on this plot. Thank you, Chemonics, for making sure that I'm seeing signs of construction. What this kind of development here, phase 2 of what we call in the district, means, it means a place for housing, for amenities of various kinds, such as restaurants. You're going to see all of that develop around what Chemonics is starting today. You already have 2 water parks here. You already have many of the amenities I'm describing in the Yards phase 1. When I got this land for the district, my bill was called the Southeast Federal Center Public-Private Development Act of 2000. This land was all owned by the federal government, which was doing nothing with it. They weren't building, for example, you might have thought maybe they would build office space. They didn't want to build office space here. They wanted office space, if you're constructing a federal building, to be closer to the Capitol. So they were just letting it lie here, earning nothing even for the federal government. This land is going to be earning for the District of Columbia as well as the federal government. And it did mark a new direction for federal land use. The Yards will continue to see groundbreakings like the one we are seeing here today. And what it will mean, what you will see grow up around here, you already see it in phase 1 of the Yards. You will see hundreds of millions of dollars in new revenue for businesses and, yes, for the District of Columbia government itself. So it is with a happy heart that I congratulate Chemonics and Brookfield Properties for starting us off this very day on Phase 2 of the yards with a high-end new headquarters. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Congresswoman. And now I'm very pleased to introduce our Mayor, Muriel Bowser, who since 2015 has made significant strides in making D.C. a safer, stronger, and healthier city. As the first woman ever reelected as mayor of the district, she has stimulated D.C.'s global and national competitiveness, diversified our economy, and invested in programs and policies that allow more families to thrive in Washington. The mayor and her team were critical in helping us attract Chemonics to this site and have been instrumental in the overall development of the arts. I want to thank her for that and introduce her.
Well, good morning, everybody. I am just delighted to see you and delighted to be with you. I want to thank Brookfield and Chemonics for getting us to this day, and so our Congresswoman doesn't have to drive by and see no activity. Give them a big round of applause. And I know that feeling, Eleanor, because I go by a couple plots and then I come back to the office and say, what's happening with this, what's happening with that, and when are we moving on that? So it's very important. And it's also very important that the work that Congresswoman Norton has done for us in advancing, of course, our cause of statehood. And I've never seen the energy around statehood, and I'm not sure if you would agree with me, Eleanor, but everybody is talking about statehood. This time, not just in D.C., but all over. Presidential campaigns, commentators, people and leaders in other states talking about how we right a significant wrong in our democracy. I'm also reminded that when I came down here, I could see our beautiful bridge coming out, Eleanor. And this is something also that the Congresswoman has been very focused on, how to move people around Washington, D.C. So she's done all of those things, captured federal land for us, created jobs for D.C. residents, and is really setting a standard that will be followed in other places about how federal land needs to be used for jobs and also for housing. And I just couldn't be more excited that she's representing us at the Congress and getting jobs for D.C. residents. It's important that a lot of people think there's only the federal government in D.C. There are only federal government jobs. And Chemonics, with 1,200 more people coming to the yards, sends the very clear message that the private sector is what's growing in Washington, D.C., and that there are all kinds of jobs, from the very high-paid jobs to people coming in at the ground level to learn a business. And isn't it wonderful to have an international company with its world headquarters consolidating offices from all over the region to be right here in Washington, D.C. For us, it was a no-brainer, but it also highlights the need for us to continue to make sure that Washington, D.C. is a great place to be a business, to start a business, and to grow a business. And that's why we were so aggressive in helping and going to the council and securing everything that we needed to get done so that Chemonics could be having this groundbreaking today. So I want to thank all the members of my team, our DMPED team led by John Falchicchio. Let's give them a big round of applause. Because we know one thing about our big deal team. They worked on this big deal, but we have some more in the hopper, don't we, Eleanor? And so we have to get those done too. So I wanted to be here to say congratulations. We're looking forward to all of Phase 2 down here at the yards, and we'll be here for more groundbreaking. So let's get this one started. Thank you, everybody.